God's peace be with you. Why did Jesus have to die on the cross? Why did he have to endure extreme pain and humiliation, to suffer an ignominious and horrible death? Couldn't God have simply willed our salvation? Couldn't God, with just a word, cause our transformation into righteous men and women? The theological explanation, stripped down to its essentials, is this: God's justice required that atonement be made for sin. This atonement is achieved through sacrifice, the giving up of life. Since the sin is against a perfect God, what is sacrificed needs to be unblemished, to be perfect. This could only be Jesus, the very Son of God. But there is a practical side to the cross of Christ. God knows Christians will encounter problems, difficulties, trials, suffering, and pain. And it would be difficult to endure this if one were to look only to the glory of God without the pain of the cross. And thus the cross of Christ is a number of things to us. First, the cross is a symbol of hope. We know that after passion and death, a resurrection and glorification. After pain and tears, are joy and laughter. When we endure, we will eventually conquer. This makes it easier for us to bear our daily difficulties. Second, the cross provides us a model for suffering. Throughout his passion, Jesus displayed meekness, patience, endurance, forgiveness, love for enemies, trust in God. These are the very characteristics expected of a true Christian. So as we go through life with all its difficulties, we don't just muddle through, but we can look on every difficulty as an opportunity to grow in Christ-like character. Third, the cross is a spur to discipleship. Jesus clearly commands his followers to take up their crosses. In fact, he makes clear that one who does not take up his cross is not worthy of him and cannot be his disciple. But Jesus is not one who does not practice what he preaches. As he commands us to take up our crosses, he has already shown the way. We who are his disciples need only to follow in his footsteps. Further, we know Jesus can empathize with us in our difficulties because he himself has been through the worst. He himself has experienced extreme pain, rejection, ridicule, humiliation. We can relate to him in our problems and trials. Fourth, the cross enables us to grow in humility. Paul tells us to think humbly of others as superior to ourselves and to look to others' interests rather than our own. Well, being stripped and beaten leaves no room for pride and the exaltation of self. Why is humility important? Because the person who is humble is the one who will be exalted. And to be humble is to be like Christ. Finally, the cross is our source of power for living radical Christian lives. Through the cross, Jesus conquered sin, death, and Satan. By God's grace, we too are able to die to self. By belonging to Jesus, we are able to crucify our flesh with its passions and desires. Thus, we are able to appropriate the same power of Christ's cross to enable us to die to sin and to live for God. Christ's victory is our victory. When Jesus carried his cross to Calvary, he had on his shoulders the full weight of all the sins of the world. Since he has shown us the way, we too can carry the much smaller crosses that come our way in life. In fact, we should look forward to these crosses in life. For the cross is Jesus' way of salvation. Through carrying the cross of Christ and participating in His passion, we are saved and sanctified. Through the cross, we witness to the world about joyful perseverance in the midst of life's hardships. God bless you all.